Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, come on in. This is Daily Dose Radio, the finest Bible bistro on the internet, the home of the straight gate and the narrow way. We looked at that yesterday, didn't we? And we're going to look at it again today, actually. Verses 8 and 9 in Psalm 5. Again, Psalm 5 is of the choir master for the Nihaloth, a psalm of David. And we've been looking at Psalm 5. Psalm 5 is best described probably as David's prayer. It starts out with that beautiful, I just love this first verse, my speech, the ear of the Lord. Isn't that perfect? I mean, what a better way to describe prayer. And we've gone through this. The Lord, who is the one hearing his prayer, is a holy God. He does not take pleasure in wickedness. He hates the workers of iniquity. He destroys the words of falsehood, and yet he provides mercy. Oh, that's so wonderful, so wonderful. Verse 8 and 9 today. O Lord, lead me in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make straight before me your way. For there is nothing reliable in his mouth. Their inward parts are profane. Their throat is an open grave. Their tongue flatters. Alrighty. I said that this is narrow gate, or straight gate, narrow way. We're doing that again today. And so we see here, verse 8. O Lord, lead me in your righteousness. Make straight before me your way. We've come through that portal of mercy. We don't deserve mercy. We did nothing at all to achieve mercy. We didn't buy it. We didn't work for it. We weren't born into it. God has gifted that to us. That is his free gift to us. Yet we don't deserve it. We are the iniquity people. We're the wicked ones. We're the workers of it. We're the foolish. We're the sinner. We're not going to stand in judgment, but yet there's mercy available because God in his great love for us has provided mercy for us. And now, once we enter his mercy, and that only happens as an operation of the Spirit of God. Salvation, ladies and gentlemen, is all the work of God. All of it. Every part. We enjoy it, but the Spirit of God calls us. He gives us faith to receive. He gives us the ability to believe. All of that is the work of God. And so once received, then notice David's next prayer in 8. He says, lead me in your righteousness. You see, we have no righteousness of our own. So we must pray the prayer, lead me in your righteousness, because there is no other righteousness. That's it. There's only God's righteousness. There's none of ours. And then he says, make straight before me your way. Why does he say that? Because there's somebody out there to mar the image of God in the believer. And David represents for us this, generic believer. All right? And that person that's out there to do that is the enemy. And he mentions them here. Now, this is only the second time the enemy has been mentioned. We had him in Psalm 3, verse 1. And we're going to see him later on in the Psalter. We'll catalog these as we go through, hopefully. So the enemy is going to become a major player in the Psalter. He's seen over and over again. As a matter of fact, he's the subject of a great deal of praying by David himself. And then verse 9, we see something about the enemy. There's nothing reliable in his mouth. And that refers directly back to verse 8, because of my enemies. There's nothing reliable in his mouth. There's nothing the enemy will say to you that's true or trustworthy. And then notice this description. Their inward parts are profane. Their throat is an open grave. Their tongue flatters. That's pretty bad description, isn't it? Pretty nasty. But that describes the corruption of man, doesn't it? Profane, open grave, flattery. Well, there it is. That's who the enemy is. We're going to see more about this enemy. We'll begin building this profile as we go through the Psalter. So don't miss tomorrow now. We're going to finish off verse 10 through 12 in Psalm 5 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.